Good morning, folks. We're going to be doing fixes today. So there are problems with the audiobook. I mean, this is a standard thing. It runs through the QC quality control, and then it's up to us to go back and fix all the things. It's like having a proofreader with a manuscript. They flag everything that they think might possibly be wrong, and sometimes it's actually a thing that is intentional. So we will go through and look at it. And I have loaded up text so you can see what they send us is a spreadsheet that looks like this. That has all of the different things that we have to go through. So the first one is a pronunciation issue. I was today years old when I learned that it is not dais, it is dais. Dais is a non-standard pronunciation, which was like, oh, well, that is new information for me. So then they give us this, which is the I mean, you can see that it's just the PDF, and they've marked all of the spots that we have to correct. Andrew also has a giant folder of audio samples that he'll give me, so that I'll hear it in context. Anything else we should say?
No, I think they'll see it as we do it, probably.
Probably so.
So let me play the first thing here, and let me find out where dais is and where we can punch.
Okay.
I think we should just do the whole line.
Okay.
Well, let's see here. You can do it from in head a dais if you want to do it. Just, I'll play it and then punch in.
No, whichever. Okay.
Here we go. Oh, it helps when you hear it. Here we go.
You know, I mean,
dais at one end of a square room.
You're not hearing that, I assume.
I just heard dais at one end of the square room.
Oh, well, let's just increase our pre-roll a tad. Here we go.
For briefings, and had a dais at one end of a square room.
And had a dais at one end of a square room.
So this is going to involve a little more finagling than usual, because what we try to do is use you sound a little different today. You sound actually more full-voiced.
Oh, interesting. I may be closer to the mic, or it
Can
may
we try
just be
pulling back?
Yeah.
Let's try pulling back off real quick.
Okay.
And see. Same thing, please. Here we go.
For briefings, and had a dais at one end of a square room.
And had a dais at one end of a square room.
Well, that would have been better, except that it went. So one more time.
Oh, you know what? Oh, no, I am plugged in. I thought for a second that I had forgotten, but okay.
You're definitely on Ethernet?
I am definitely on Ethernet.
Sweet. All right, let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Yep.
For briefings, and had a dais at one end of a square room.
And had a dais at one end of a square room.
Let's see. Dais at.
So I'm going to do the fix on mine. And then I'll play it for you if that's okay.
Yep.
One end of a square. One end of a square.
It's funny, my puppeteer brain is like, boy, it'd be really super handy to have, you can't see me, Andrew, but the people watching can. It'd be super handy to have a monitor that's like right there, because then I could be looking at what it is that you're doing. Right now I'm faking the fact that I'm looking at it. It's like, right here, what he's doing, and I look back at the camera, and so that, I can see where it is that I'm pointing. I'm like, so what you can see right there is he's grabbing that line, and then he's going to move it up to there. And I'm like, it'd be so handy if I had two monitors, or if I was just a puppet so that I could just watch the one monitor all the time. This whole being, like, using these to see and having to point them at things simultaneously while seeing, it's very inconvenient in this context.
That's not bad. Let's see if we can, yeah. Still just feels a little. So I'm adjusting volume now.
At one end of a square room.
That's too much.
Dais at one end of a square room.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Take a listen. Oops. Oh yeah, one other thing I gotta do. Usually I do these before we get online, but this time.
Well, it's great because they are all interested in process and want to see what it is that you're doing. So this works out perfectly.
Well, they are getting to learn all the stuff. That should work. That's annoying. So what's happening is oh, sorry. I don't have to narrate.
No. Please do narrate.
Should I narrate?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know if you guys can see this, but
They can.
what I have is I have a shortcut that allows me to compensate for the delay between what Mary hears and the time it takes to get back to me. And it's not triggering properly, which is slightly annoying. There it is. That's the correct thing. Let's just see if maybe I have to. There we go. So it's a feature of my mouse. Haha. And that's what I call a bug. It's an unwanted feature. Yeah. So take a listen.
The press room at the Capitol building was built specifically for briefings and had a dais at one end of a square room.
That sounds completely transparent to me. Well done.
Yep. Thank you.
This is why we like working with Andrew.
All right, so let's go to the I did not go out on the dais. I think that's all we're going to need. Let me listen.
At our practiced, supportive and attentive expression engaged, I stood in the gallery with out on the dais. No, I...
That's all we need then.
Okay.
Mute that part and that part, and I'll punch you in. Here we go.
I did not go out on the dais.
I did not go out on the dais.
One more time, if you can keep the inflection of dais a little bit higher, and it sounds a little too low.
Okay.
Relative to what comes next.
I did not go out on the dais.
I did not go out on the dais.
Thank you.
Go out on the dais.
So then, dais. Breath. Scoot you down a little bit. Listen. Not quite yet. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Certainly.
I'll turn that down. What's going on? Oh, that's what's going on. Gotta go right up to the edge, and I've calculated that we have maybe a 3 dB difference. So let's see if that works. Almost.
Out on the dais.
Yeah, now we just do a little book. Almost. I almost believe that. So then what I'm going to do, since I still don't quite believe that, is I'm going to change my edit point a little bit. to use a little bit more because sometimes just transitioning on the word that I want just doesn't sound right.
So we're not hearing what you're doing right now.
Yes, let me see if I can make it so you can hear it too while I do it. I just didn't want to double up on you.
Oh, that's
here.
okay.
I can do this. You just have to. I have to remind me that I need to turn it back down.
Got it.
So
Got it. I did not go out on the dais.
you can hear that now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So I'm not quite done because that doesn't quite work yet either.
I did not go out.
I'll turn off the other one.
I did not go out on the dais.
That's going to work better, I think.
I did not go out on the dais.
Hey, I almost believe that.
I did not go out on the dais. No, I did not go out on the dais. No, I stood in the gallery with. I did not go out on the dais. No.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
I did not go out on the dais. No.
This is where I get super, super critical. So that's okay.
What do you not believe?
What do you not believe?
Oh, I just was listening to the change in tonality. It's subtle. I think it's okay.
I did not go out on the dais.
I think that's more a shift in
I think that's more a shift in attitude.
Yeah.
I did not go out on the dais. No,
That works better for me. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not go out on the dais. No.
Yeah, I believe that. Okay. Hey, my shortcut works. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one. Was, should be, which were. Turn that off. Turn this back on.
Was that one of the ones we changed on purpose?
He had a half dozen variations on line. We will not be cowed by terrorists, which were the variations were.
No, that's
was disingenuous coming from a man. No, that's which was because it's from the man, right? Which was
no, it's the variations.
It's the line. It's the variations. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's find it then.
Half dozen variations on the line, we will not be cowed by terrorists, which was disingenuous coming from a man who wanted to slash the United States contribution to the IAC. Honestly,
Let's just do that whole line through IAC.
Yeah, because I kind of allied the wanted to anyway.
Yeah. Here we go.
Oops.
Right after. Here we go. I'll give you a little more pre-roll. You want to hear the whole line? Yeah, probably. Let's go with that. Here we go.
Which was disingenuous coming from a man who wanted to slash the United States contribution to the IAC.
Which were disingenuous coming from a man who wanted to slash the United States contribution to the IAC.
Yeah.
A lie.
And I'll turn you back on, except it would be helpful if I put that up. Why is that not? Oh, it is. Darn. It's the other one that isn't. Sorry. Talking to myself.
Series of one-liners, which was disingenuous coming.
Someone has noted
Which
that
were
I'm
disingenuous.
crocheting
While he works, which is what I do.
Time.
Which were disingenuous coming from a man who wanted to. Terrorists. Which were disingenuous coming from a man who wanted to slash the United States contribution to the IA. We will not be cowed by terrorists, which were disingenuous coming from a man who wanted to slash the United States.
Yeah, This works.
Great.
Great.
You heard that, yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great. All right, let's do this just to be consistent. Next one.
Okay, so next one is
Had cheekbones that made me both jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy. Of my own jealousy. We apparently put in there.
oops.
The painfully slender FBI agent pulled his bones that made me both
Oh,
jealous
yeah.
of him and afraid of my own jealousy.
Yeah. We can do just jealous of him and afraid of my own jealousy if you want.
Okay.
Here we go.
Jealous of him and afraid of my own jealousy.
Jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
Excellent.
Jealousy.
So then,
And afraid of my own jealousy. Afraid of my jealousy.
yeah, take a listen.
He had cheekbones that made me both jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
You buy that?
I do. I don't know that I like
I
the
do. I don't
read.
know that I like the read.
You want to try one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know what? We can actually take more of the. Do you not like the previous read? Or do you not like what you did just now?
I think I
I
don't
think
like what I did.
I think I don't like what I did.
Just now. Okay.
Yeah. I
Let's
was
redo it.
matching
Yeah.
what I had
I was
done
matching what I
previously,
had done previously, and it
it parses
it
differently without
parses
the own
differently
in there.
without the own in there.
It does. Yep. Okay. You know what? I can leave what you just did, and then at least it's the correct
Yes.
words you'll be hearing.
Yes.
And then.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
Jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
Thank you.
I felt like what I was hearing was myself edit the word own out of it.
Yeah.
Which may have been my imagination, but
Let's see.
And afraid of my jealousy. Jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
Take a listen.
He had cheekbones that made me both jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
You know what? I'm also gonna just, since we're here, might as well just cinch up the space a little bit.
Me both jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
I think we can also get rid of this.
That made me both jealous of him and afraid of my jealousy.
Do you like that?
I do. Thank you.
I do.
Oh,
Thank
do.
you.
You heard it. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, next one. Oops.
Another misread.
Another misread.
In answer to your question, I read your last letter in the garden module. Let's see.
In answer to your question, I read the last letter in the garden module.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. In answer to your question, I read the last letter in the garden module.
In answer to your question,
In answer to your question, I read.
I can hear myself.
Oh, I can hear myself.
Oh,
Sorry.
fuck.
Oof.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Here we
We
go.
had this. Thanks.
Yep. That was me not switching the thing back to the thing. Here we go.
Thanks.
In
for
answer to your
doing it.
question, I read the last letter in the garden module.
In answer to your question, I read your last letter in the garden module.
Great.
In the garden mod. Read your last. To your question, I read. I read your last letter in the garden mod. I read the last letter. I read your question. I read your last letter.
Kendra, I'll do more than shake my
Kendra,
head
I'll do
at
more
you.
than shake my head at you. Question, I
Some of
read your
these.
last letter in the guard module. Answer to your question, I read your last letter in the guard module. In the guard mod. The guard mod. Guard mod. Guard mod. Guard mod. I read your last letter in the guard module.
Hey.
In answer to your question, I read your last letter in the guard module. In answer to your question, I read your last letter in the guard module.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next. Without hesitating.
Would have said yes without hesitation.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, got it.
Alrighty. Ready?
Yep.
Your person would have said yes without hesitation.
A kinder person would have said yes without hesitating.
Would have said
Okay.
yes without hesitating. Said yes without hesitating. A kinder person would have said yes without hesitating. A kinder person would have said yes without hesitating. Would have said yes without hesitating.
You believe that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
If you were poisoned in our home, the press would raise the question of if I had done it.
We left out our own, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and I can hear myself.
All right, and I
just
can
as a
hear
warning.
myself just as a warning.
Yes, thank you. Here we go.
If you were poisoned in our home,
I only heard if you were poisoned in our home. Is that all I'm doing for you?
I think so, just because it's a
Okay.
phrase that stands by itself. So
Great.
I figured we
I
could
just wanted to double check.
Cool. Here we go.
if you were poisoned in our home,
If you were poisoned in our own home.
Thank you. Yeah, that's where they started the audio, just that little chunk.
Wow.
I don't have it for that. Which
Yeah, they usually give you more.
Yeah, sometimes they have on this sometimes, and sometimes they haven't. So
Yeah.
But this will work, I think.
Because you're genius.
Because I'm a genius. And so modest.
Yes. Yes. I also am a genius.
I also am a genius.
As are everyone
Poisoned in
watching this
our
right
home.
now. If they were not
Watching this
before,
right
they
now.
are
If they were
now.
not before, they are now.
Because of your genius.
Genius.
Genius! If you were poisoned in our own home.
All right, so
If you were poisoned in our own home.
poisoned in our.
Poisoned in our own home.
So
Poisoned in our own home.
here we go. So if it's of interest, the reason why I slide the edit around and or use a certain amount or less of something is because usually it's easiest to hide any sort of timbral difference from two different days with the shortest piece possible. But sometimes extending it on either side works better. And sometimes you can get away with covering it up by editing on a fricative, which is an S or a T or an F. Makes often good places to edit. Let's take a listen.
If you were poisoned in our own home, the press would raise the question of if I had done it.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, works for me too.
Yeah, works for me too.
Great. I've turned you off.
Thank you so much. Misread.
Slow sigh. I think you said low, maybe? Let's listen.
It escaped in a long, low sigh, and I knew I'd won.
Yep.
Yep.
sigh, and I knew I.
Did you just fix it?
I don't think I fixed it well enough, but
A long, slow sigh, and
I could
nope.
if you were. I could if you were not here, but you're here, so let's just do it.
Okay.
Okay.
But I was curious
It escaped. Yeah.
if it were possible, and it is. This is where I'm a super nerd. The things I find interesting.
I know. It's delightful, though.
It's delightful, though.
I'm glad you find it so. All right, here we go.
It escaped in a long, low sigh, and I knew I'd won.
It escaped in a long.
It escaped in a
I can hear
long.
myself.
I fucked up. Here we go.
It escaped in a long, low sigh, and I knew I'd won.
It escaped in a long, slow sigh, and I knew I'd won.
Low,
Here we go.
slow sigh.
We'll go from long
In a long, slow sigh.
and after the S.
It escaped in a low. Escaped in a low.
Ooh, interesting.
Escaped in a low. Escaped in a long, sigh, and I knew I'd.
We are hearing layers.
You're
now?
hearing layers now.
Oh, I thought I'd muted that. Sorry.
That's
I get a new process going for this for fixes here.
yeah. Normally, you
Yeah,
wouldn't
it is.
have to do any of
You
this
wouldn't have to do any of this
because
Right,
we would
because
not
we don't
normally
have
have
because we would not
listeners.
normally have listeners.
Right, one rail.
He held it. It escaped in a long, slow sigh, and I knew I held it. It escaped in a long, slow sigh, and I knew I'd won.
Take a listen.
He held it. It escaped in a long, slow sigh, and I knew I'd won.
Yep,
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
me too. You hear yourself. Now you do not.
That sounds even better.
Next one.
Okay.
At the end, I'll have it down to a science.
I know. Just when we're finished. I mean, there's 34 of them, so.
Not that, given the
missing
length.
word.
Let's see here.
Loose on impact, taking the package of code books with it.
Okay. You heard it.
Yep.
Here we go.
It must have jarred loose on impact, taking the package of code books with it.
It must have been jarred loose on impact, taking the package of code books with it.
Must have jarred.
Okay.
It must have been jarred loose. Been jarred loose on impact. It must have jarred loose.
Not a good match.
Not a good match.
No, I think it will be. I just did a little editing. I was realizing, of course, that I had to move the last part of it down. It was just me realizing. I think
Got
it'll
it.
be okay.
Got it.
Because we added an extra word, it's not going to plop right in there.
It must have been jarred loose on impact. It must have been jarred loose on impact, taking the package of. It must have been jarred loose on.
But I think we're just going to have to do this.
It must have been jarred loose on impact, taking the package of code books with it.
Yeah.
It must have been jarred loose on impact, taking the package of code books with it.
That's why it's so fun to work with you, because you're good at matching yourself.
It
So we
is
just the
It
first half.
is
fun
one of the.
things, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly.
Enjoy fixes. Yeah.
There's something satisfying about being able to match, to do a solid match.
You would probably be stellar at ADR if you ever have to do it. Or you have you had to do it
I
for
have,
the puppets?
yeah. It's different with puppets because they the mouths are just open and closed, so you don't have to match lip shape at all.
Right,
You've
right.
got a lot more freedom and flexibility.
That's true. I still think you'd probably be great at it. If you were doing live action stuff.
Who would want to do live action stuff?
All right, let's. I don't see what's wrong with this yet. Oh, do we leave out a 2?
The
it looks
IAC
like
would
it.
be mobilizing, ready to work unexpected problems.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we left it out because it shouldn't be there.
Oh, that's right. No, that's a okay one. Yeah.
Yeah, would be mobilizing to ready to work. That's
Oh.
because That's a...
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's intentional.
Yep.
So we skip that one. And we go to what is our next?
11. The corner of his jaw tensed. Mouth should be jaw.
Mouth tensed. I checked it.
Sure enough.
Hang on, I'm still scrolling here. I just am lining things up so that I...
bunch of different, yeah. Bunch of different documents on your end too.
Yeah. Okay, so... And also, in a part of the process that I don't normally have to do, I am switching between documents so people can see them. So I have to keep going back to OBS. Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to do the first line there, the corner of his jaw tensed.
Okay.
And here it comes.
The corner of his mouth tensed.
The corner of his jaw tensed.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Corner of his jaw tensed.
Let's see.
The corner of his mouth. The corner of his jaw tensed.
Let's see where that T, there it is.
The corner of his jaw tensed.
Kendra, I have not
Kendra, I have
done
a corner
an
of his jaw
impression of a
tensed.
treasure
Impression
chest,
of a
but I
treasure
have
chest, but I
done
have the corner of
an
his jaw
impression of a
tensed.
garbage can.
Impression. The corner of his jaw tensed.
Sorry.
The corner of his jaw tensed. The corner of his jaw tensed. I checked it as part of my pre-launch walkthrough. The corner of his jaw tensed. I checked it as part of my pre-launch walkthrough. The corner of his jaw tensed. I checked it as part of my pre-launch walkthrough.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
April 19th, 1963.
Oh, this should be fun.
Whee!
Find decent homes. What are we on? Which one is this? 12? Different
Yeah.
decent house should be homes. Okay. Let's find it.
Continuing effort to help needy families find decent homes.
Okay. Let's just do it from the in the continuing effort.
Okay.
And here we go.
Policy in the continuing effort to help needy families find decent homes.
In the continuing effort to help needy families find decent homes.
Families find decent.
Thank you.
Sweetly.
Sweetly. Find decent homes. Find decent. Find families find decent. To help needy families find decent homes. Families find decent homes. Continuing effort to help needy families find decent homes.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Listen.
Yep.
Relocation policy in the continuing effort to help needy families find decent homes.
You go with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Brought a box of Fuzz Balls into the office in a display of ruthless strategy.
So
Missing
it's
word.
a box of the Fuzz Balls.
Yes.
The kitty cat.
Yes.
Let's just do that line.
Sounds good. Hang on. There we go.
Okay. There we go.
My staffers brought a box of Fuzz Balls into the office in a display of ruthless strategy.
One of my staffers brought a box of the Fuzz Balls into the office in a display of ruthless strategy.
Into the office.
Okay.
Box of the Fuzz Balls. Brought a box of Fuzz. Fuzz Balls into the office. Balls into. Brought a box of the Fuzz Balls into the office in a.
So Kendra
Of
has
my
noted that
staffers
my
brought a box
impression
of the
a-
Fuzz Balls into the office in a display. Of my staffers brought a box of the Fuzz Balls into the office in a display. Box of the Fuzz Balls into the office in a display of ruthless strategy. Brought a box of the Fuzz Balls into the office in a display of ruthless strategy.
So the end sounds, the edit at the end sounds different than the edit at the beginning. So I'm just going to raise up the front part and leave the back part down and see if I can.
My staffers brought a box of the Fuzz Balls into the office in a display of ruthless strategy.
Just lower the whole thing.
One of my staffers brought a box of the Fuzz Balls into the office in a display of ruthless strategy.
Do you buy that?
I do.
I do.
Great. Okay.
The chant.
Kendra has noted that
Kendra has noted that my.
Oh, and I can hear myself.
Oh, and I can hear myself.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Kendra has noted that my mimicry of a trash can sounded like grouchy work. No, actually, it was rotten work. When I attempted to do grouchy work as a trash can, it was a non-standard trash can and would not fit two of us. It was a moment of great pain for me. Thanks for bringing it up. Okay, so
Working in the LGC, being able to turn off the power without anyone noticing was
chance
slim.
versus chances.
Yep. Here we go. Yeah, so we're going to go with...
I have a memory of changing this one on purpose, though.
the chance. Yes, I do actually as well. The chance of someone, the chances of someone. Yes, we did change this one on purpose. I agree. Chance of someone working the LGC being able to turn off the power without anyone noticing slim. The chances. I mean, what did they say? They said it was a misread.
Yeah.
What's the what's an authority of that?
I mean, we can ask the author.
Chances. How does the author feel?
The author feels like we should leave it at as chance.
Perfect.
Great.
Left it shall be.
Yeah, totally just texted to check with the author.
I mean, technology is amazing. It was so fast.
So fast. It's really instant.
It's like you're in the room.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we have next?
Should be comedy could.
Yes.
Would be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Music and comedy would be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables.
Music and comedy could be better than a... Okay.
I mean, that might be all I need.
Good. Great. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Music and comedy would be better. Comedy would be better.
I actually wonder if
I
that's
actually wonder if that's one that I changed on purpose.
Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, no, never mind. Mm.
Okay.
Comedy could be better. Could be better. Comedy could be better. Comedy could be better. Comedy could be better. Music comedy could be better. Comedy. Comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies. Better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables. Than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables. In comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables. I'm pointing out that this question coming up now is meant to hamper our investigations.
What's that?
I did not say anything, but you did roll the next clip, which
Talking to
sounds
me?
like me.
Sighing, I nodded.
Oh, dar.
Music and comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card.
Noise in pointing out.
One sec. I jumped the gun by playing more than I meant to play.
Music and comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around. Better than a bunch of ninnies. Music and comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables. Be better than a bunch of ninnies. Better than a bunch of. Better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables. Be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables. Comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies. Music and comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables. Music and comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around. Could be better than a bunch of. Music and comedy could be better than a bunch of ninnies sitting around card tables.
There you go.
Great. Moving on. Oh, I had already transitioned.
Something?
Hmm?
So you said noise. They said there was a noise on something?
Yeah, it looks like pointing out that there's a noise.
Let's listen.
That this question coming.
Oh, sure enough. It's the door.
That this question coming up now is meant to hamper our investigations.
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm pointing out that this question coming up now is meant to hamper our investigations.
I am pointing out that this question coming up now is meant to hamper our investigations.
Thank you.
That this question coming up now. I am pointing out that this question coming up now is meant to hamper our investigations. I am pointing out that this question coming up now is meant to hamper our investigation. I am pointing out that this question coming up now is meant to hamper our investigations.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Cool.
I'm
wondering if you
September.
have
wondering if you
frozen.
have frozen.
Have I frozen?
Yeah.
Should I reshare?
Go ahead, because I
Go
don't
ahead,
see anything
because
moving.
I don't see anything moving.
Also, I can hear
I don't-
myself.
Also, I can hear myself.
Ouch. There you go.
Okay, thank you. I hope people understand how impressive it is that I can talk while hearing myself.
They should, because it's actually it's like translating.
Yeah.
Except in the same language.
Yes, just like that.
Nodded.
Thank you, that's better.
Like the lack of the S. Yeah, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go.
Sighing, I nodded.
Okay, well, hang on.
Oh, sorry.
What are we fixing?
Are you being serious or are you joking?
I didn't hear it.
Oh,
I did. Play it again.
Oh, sure.
Sighing, I nodded.
Actually, what are we fixing?
I think what happened is the S when I punched in, somehow I chopped off the S or something
Okay.
like that. There's no S at the beginning of sighing.
Got it.
Yep. Here we go.
Sighing, I nodded.
Sighing, I nodded. I thought the not hearing the S was an artifact of right now versus...
Gotcha, where I punched in.
Yeah.
Yep, makes sense. Let's see. Here you go. I just grabbed the S.
Show off.
Show off. Sighing, I nodded.
Hey, you know. It's my little moment. Okay, moving on. We're halfway through.
Yay. Cut word grounding.
That's probably another artifact of a punch, a bad punch or something. Cut word grounding, really?
Technically not flying. Grounding?
Yeah, it's just a artifact. It's probably an artifact of just an edit that came in too quick. Technically not flying, grounding is all we need.
Okay.
Here we go.
Technically not flying. Grounding?
Technically not flying. Grounding?
Thank you.
Not flying. Grounding? Technically not flying. Grounding? Damn good flying. Technically not flying. Technically not flying. Grounding?
There we go. I'm good with that. You good with that?
I am good with that.
I am.
Great. Moving on. You just picked up those at a 5 and dime. Maybe something like that got tainted. Terror 19.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it centered in my...
Oh. I'm figuring out myself.
Streets up to the moon in their CPKs like... I snapped my fingers as if it had just occurred to me. Like Kurt brought candy Easter eggs up to share with people. He just picked those up at a 5 and dime. Maybe something like that got contaminated.
Oh, yeah. No telling why.
Sure enough. Here we go. We'll just do that last phrase, maybe something like that.
Okay.
And that will be 6 seconds of pre-roll. Here we go.
Well, he just picked those up at a 5 and dime. Maybe something like that got contaminated.
Maybe something like that got tainted.
Maybe something like that got contaminated. Like that got tainted. Something like that got tainted. Something like that got tainted. Something like that got tainted. Maybe something like that got tainted.
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Moving on.
All of not in text.
Finding anything else to look at.
No. Let's see.
I smiled at him, pretending not to notice the way all the men were either staring at me or studiously finding anything else to look at.
What? I didn't hear an of. Did you hear an of?
I did not hear an of.
Pretending not to notice the way all the men were either staring at me or studiously finding anything else to look at.
It's not there.
It's not there. I think they're mistaking the end of all the men.
Yeah.
And they're mishearing it. I think it's fine.
Weird. Yep, no, that's totally fine. Stet.
Next.
Okay.
just been. If I hadn't just been. We must have misread it. Let's listen.
Been shocked. The mugginess.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I hadn't just left out the just. Here we go.
Even if I hadn't been shocked.
Even if I hadn't just been shocked.
Even if I
Okay.
hadn't just been. If I hadn't just. Even if I hadn't just been shocked. 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 Even if I hadn't just been shocked.
I don't know why.
Been shocked. The mugginess would make it. Even if I just been shocked, even if I hadn't just been shocked, the mugginess would make it hard to think. Even if I hadn't just been shocked, the mugginess shocked. The mugginess would make it hard. Even if I hadn't just been shocked, the mugginess would make it hard to think.
You believe that?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Huh. Lots of red around this page for some
Yes.
reason.
This one is like, this line is read in an accent for some reason. And
is
I'm
it?
like, yeah, yeah, that's, that would be because she's, here, I'll show
Right.
everybody. We're going to skip these. This is where she's like, why is this line being, because I'm like, she's speaking German here. So I did actually do a slight German accent. So yes, we're going to skip those.
There's one on page 313. Did I miss it? They didn't include it. So in their
Oh.
pages, they missed one.
Great. I love it when that
Just
happens.
looking to see
Okay.
whether it's just out of order, but it's
Yes.
not.
I mean, I've got the manuscript, so I can just pull it up.
Right. Yeah, me too. Yeah, they left out 313. So
Okay.
let me open up mine as well. And go to 313 and find what we're talking about. I gripped my. No. I gripped my.
Oh, there it is.
I'm still looking. Oh, there it is.
It's the first paragraph.
Got it. Grip my mug in my hands. Okay.
In my hands.
That's all they gave me. Okay, I guess we're just replacing that phrase.
All right.
Here we. It doesn't have to match anything else. Here we go.
I gripped the mug in my hands.
I gripped my mug in my hands.
I gripped the mug in my hands.
All right, let's see.
In my hands.
Oops. Let's do that.
I gripped the mug. My mug. I gripped my mug in my hands. Gripped my mug in my hand.
Yeah, I figured that might be the case.
Gripped my mug in my hands.
There it is. No. Interesting.
I gripped my mug in my hands. I gripped my mug in my hands.
Sounds like a delivery is
Sounds like a
happening
delivery is
downstairs.
happening downstairs.
Ah, I wondered if I heard some.
I gripped my mug in my hands. I gripped my mug in my hands.
That works for me.
Great.
Great.
Okay, so these are the ones we're skipping, right? Let's see,
Yeah.
where am I? Close that.
Okay.
Save. On page 326. What does that cover? Which one does that cover? Oh, just 33. Okay, so we're just going to mark that as fine as it was. Number 24.
Okay.
Drummed his fingers.
Drummed his fingers on the arm of his chair.
That should be fingers, because he drummed his finger is not actually a. That's not.
Yes, that makes sense.
That-
How do you drum a finger? It's like the sound of one hand clapping.
Yeah. Forgive me for a moment. What page is that in the actual manuscript? Because I'd like to mark that as a correction that we should do in the text.
385.
385.
Third paragraph, first line.
Yeah. I'm gonna just, fix that later.
Sounds good.
Done seated, you can have Reuben. If not,
All right. So if it can be done seated.
Okay. And give me a second to get back to that page.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sneeze at some point in here.
Okay.
Okay? Or not. We'll see.
if this can be done seated, you can have Reuben.
If it can be done seated, you can have Reuben.
This can be done seated, you can have Reuben. Have Reuben. Done seated. Done. If it can be done seated, you can have Reuben. Be done seated, you can have Reuben. If it can be done seated, you can have Reuben. If not, we can pull someone from LGC until power is restored.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay.
26. He frowned. Eyes narrowed. We said should be narrowing. Let's see here.
Okay.
Eyes narrowed as he followed what I was saying. That in it.
Yeah, sure enough.
Yep.
Here we go.
He frowned, eyes narrowed as he followed what I was saying.
He frowned, eyes narrowing as he followed what I was saying.
Okay.
Eyes narrowing as he followed what I was. He frowned. He frowned. Eyes narrow. Eyes narrow. He frowned, eyes narrowing as he followed what I was saying. What I was saying. As he followed what I was saying.
Uh-oh.
He frowned, eyes narrowing as he followed what I was saying. He frowned, eyes narrowing as he followed what I was saying.
Well, you get that?
That's works great.
Yeah, that works great.
Great.
I've just made a mistake someplace.
Just made a mistake
crochet.
Oh,
Tragic.
no.
I know. Looks like maybe 2 lines back. Bother.
Terrible.
I know.
Could be worse.
It could be.
Noise.
It has been.
Oh yeah. Let me listen. This says noise on clock.
Team has been working around the clock and can't find anything.
Sure enough. Let me see if I can just eliminate that for giggles. Let's see what it is. There it is. That would be a tough one. Let's see if we can
I
just...
have the cups in with me.
I have the cups in with me.
Oh, good. I'm just going to try to mingulate it real quick here, and if that works, great. If it doesn't, then I won't.
Mingulated. I do not know that
Mingulated. I
word.
do not know that word.
Yeah, I think it is a made-up word that a friend of mine, a guitar player named Bob, and I'm totally blanking on his last name now. I don't know why. But he introduced me to that word, and I liked it. So occasionally it comes up. I think it is, yeah, like I said, probably a fake word, but it sounds like what I mean.
Can't find. Looking around the clock. Can't find it. Team has been working around the clock and can't find anything.
You're going to do this faster than I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me see.
Let me see.
The engineering team has been working around the clock.
All we need is an engineering team has been working around the clock.
Hang on, I need to look.
Hang
at
on,
it
I need
see which
to look
cup
at
I'm
it to see
using.
which cup I'm using.
Gotcha. I think it's over the
It's-
public address system.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
the
it is
paper
the
cup with the
paper cup with
the
the
plastic
there
cup with the
they-
paper.
plastic cup with the paper.
Ready?
Indeed.
Indeed.
The engineering team has been working around the clock.
There's an echo.
There's an echo.
Well, shit. Here we go.
Thanks.
The engineering team has been working around the clock.
The engineering team has been working around the clock.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Working around the clock. Working around the clock. The engineering team has been working around the clock. The engineering team has been working around the clock. Has been working around the clock.
Okay. Oof.
The engineering team has been working around the and can't find
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
The engineering team has been working around the clock and the engineering team has been working around the clock and can't find anything wrong on this end. The engineering team has been working around the clock and can't find anything wrong.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Great.
Great.
Page. Right. Military time should say 0941.
Yeah. Fair.
Is that not included in these pages as well?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah. Should be the next page.
What's 444 then? There's a page 444.
Yeah, because the entire line of dialogue rolled over onto.
Oh, I see. All right, I'm just confused. Got it.
27 people in all the worlds that you've.
No.
41.
Okay, that's all they gave me.
All right then. I think I can fix that.
If you can do it. Yep. Here we go.
941.
0941.
Okay.
941. 0940. 41. 41. 0941. 0941. 0941.
Yep.
In answer to the crochet
27
question, it
people
is
in all the worlds that you find genuinely appealing.
different
This is
project.
one of your charms, but I am somewhat biased.
So
Okay.
we just left that, I think. Yep.
Yep.
Here we go. We'll just do this is one of your charms.
Okay.
I think, but I am somewhat biased. Here we go.
Somewhat biased.
Oops. Here we go.
One of your charms, but I am somewhat biased.
One of your charms, I think, but I am somewhat biased.
Thank you.
This is one of your charms. One of your charms, I think. I am somewhat biased.
Really?
Of your charms, I think, but I am somewhat biased. One of your charms, I think, but I am somewhat biased.
There we go.
Yay.
This is one of your charms, I think, but I am somewhat biased.
Okay. Onwards.
Hurrah. More military time.
Time again.
Yeah.
I think 0110
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again with
112.
Sorry, there's movement downstairs. Let me wait for that to pass.
sure.
I think they're done now.
Okay.
112.
0112.
Thank you.
Oh, 112. Oh, 112.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, 112.
Next.
June 1st, 1963. 3:37.
Same thing.
1963. 3:37.
0337.
June 1st, 1963. 0337. 63. 0337. 337. June 1st, 1963. 0337. June 1st, 1963. 0337.
I'm being anal, but there's a breath you took before that, and without the breath, it sounds strange. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Do you
cool.
want me to just do it
Do
again
you
with the
want me to
breath?
just do it again with a breath?
No, I've got the breath from the other side of the edit. I had just butted up the 337 too close to
Ah.
the left-hand edge, and so I was just moving it out. So I can get your previous breath in there again.
June 1st, 1963. 0337.
There
337.
we go.
June 1st, 1963. 0337.
I buy that.
Yep.
Okay. Problem with my brilliant proposal was that that not in text.
My brilliant proposal was that it required waiting for Myrtle and Halim to return.
Uh-huh.
Let's just do that whole line if you don't mind.
I do not mind.
Thank you. 6 seconds of pre-roll should get us there. Here we go.
The problem with my brilliant proposal was that it required waiting for Myrtle and Halim to return.
The problem with my brilliant proposal was it required waiting for Myrtle and Halim to return.
Thank you.
Was it required
Proposal
was
again.
Oh, it's frozen again.
Oh,
Annoying.
Annoying.
I will reshare again.
I wonder why it's doing that today.
It's doing that today.
It knows that I'm working on it.
Probably.
Probably.
Is it back?
It is.
It is.
Great.
Yay.
Required waiting for Myrtle and proposal was it required waiting for Myrtle and the problem with my brilliant proposal my brilliant proposal was it required waiting for Myrtle and the problem with my brilliant proposal was it required waiting for Myrtle and Halim to return. The problem with my brilliant proposal was it required waiting for Myrtle and Halim to return. The problem with my brilliant proposal was it required waiting for Myrtle and Halim to return.
You like that?
I do.
I do.
Great.
Interestingly, we have a page of text that we do not have a line for.
0600. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have that. I guess we should just read it, huh?
I guess so.
Since
I'm assuming that, or maybe because the colon is in there, they're like, is this a, what did I say? Did they give us a file?
What page are we on?
It's 32 of the correction PDF.
But they didn't give us the page number. 51.
It's
I don't
chapter-
have it's not on the notes, is it?
No.
No, it's not on the notes. So what file number? Let's listen to the next file number.
Completed suit checks.
Oh, you know what? They just screwed up the. They duplicated the comments on 33.
Oh, okay.
We have the file, but it's just somehow it got duplicated.
Aha.
Comments got duplicated. All right, here we go.
Completed suit checks.
Let me give you the full pre-roll. How about that?
600 hours. Completed suit checks.
600 hours.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you did not need me to say completed suit checks, so I didn't.
I did not. No, I appreciate that.
0600. 06. 0600 hours. 0600 hours. Completed suit checks.
Sounds good to me.
Great. Great.
All right, and then. But my mom said edit. Well, maybe it just chopped on the. Maybe I chopped it accidentally on the punch in. Let's listen.
Mom survived 3 lightning strikes, and my suit was insulated.
Yep.
Okay.
Just issue that I just didn't catch. Here we go. 6 seconds of pre-roll.
Mom survived 3 lightning strikes, and my suit was insulated.
But my mom survived 3 lightning strikes, and my suit was insulated.
Okay.
Mom survived. Survived 3 lightning.
This is our last fix.
This is
so
our
if
last fix. So if
anyone in our
listening
has
audience
a question, you can
has a question, you can
toss it into the chat, and I'll
toss
try
it
to
into
hit
the chat, and I'll try to hit it. But my mom survived 3 lightning strikes, and my suit was insulated.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So, sounds good to me. So I think, let's see here. Let me just do a quick. $34. That seems to be the right number.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Can we get kitty time? Yeah, we can do that. We can absolutely do that. Andrew, I'm gonna go get my cat.
Okay, I'm just gonna start on the naming stuff.
Okay, great. While I'm getting Elsie, I'm going to ask you to think about a thing that is not directly related to the audiobook, but is related to the book launch party, which is on Tuesday. I've gone to several things or hosted things that have a dance party, and it has occurred to me that having someone with a selection of music from the 1950s and 60s would be a lot of fun for this dance party. And I thought about having a virtual sock hop or a virtual swing dance, and I was like, do you know a DJ for swing dancing?
I know several. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to connect me with someone when we.
Yes.
That would be fantastic. Let me get the cat.
Okay.
I say the cat as if I have only one. What is fascinating to me in this process is that when I came back in and could see the screen. Hi, Elsie. Yes. See the screen. It was on the YouTube. I was still in the process of leaving the room. Elsie. Yeah, people want to
There's
say
something
hi.
in there.
Elsie. Yeah, you are allowed in here. Elsie, up. Good girl. Hi. Hi. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this and hold the camera where people can see, so maybe I will sit down and you can be in my lap. That might work better. Yeah, I know. So much purring. Okay. You ready? Yeah, I know. You see the hand with the treats. Hey. Kid, focus. Come here. Elsie. Hi. Yes, hello. Hi. I know, this is a little awkward, isn't it? Okay, you're right. This is all terribly awkward. Elsie, high five. Elsie, high five. Oh, that's not a high five. That's a lot of purring, but it's not a high five. Elsie. Elsie, come here. I know, so confusing. Elsie, high five. Thank you. Let's do that again so that they know it wasn't a fluke. Elsie, high five. Thank you. Good girl. Such a good girl. I think probably the only other trick you can do in my lap. Hi, no, I know that there are treats in the other hand. Elsie, sit. Elsie, sit. Good. Okay, no. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Can you hear her eating?
I can totally hear her purring eating, yes. So cute.
Yes, I know. I know you would like all of the treats that are in my hand, but you can't. Oops, sorry. I just booped you on the nose. You can't have them. Sadie is... I don't know where Sadie is. Hi. You want to... so people can see your little face? Yeah, do you want to lick all of the treats off my hand? Fair.
It's like the best. I should be recording all this. Like the best cat sound effects ever.
I've got it right up next to the mic.
That's audio gold right there.
Thank you, Elsie. Okay. I'm curious about how live streaming affected the recording process. Did it make things easier in some ways, harder in others? So we probably lost about a half hour every day, or over, I guess, averaged. But getting things set up, because we actually, for almost all of the recordings, we had to get in 15 minutes to half an hour before you saw us working. And under normal circumstances, that would be time that I would have been narrating. So we lost that time. Otherwise, yeah, it was mostly just that slowdown for that. The thing that made it easier was having you all proofing as we were going along. That was really handy.
Yes.
You know, in a book this long, we obviously would have had more corrections because you all caught a number of them, but
This is like the number of corrections we usually have for a book half this length.
yeah. Anyone else have questions? If not, he's going to be doing this for a while, so I think that, is there anything else we need to talk about? You're just naming things at this point, aren't you?
I'm just naming. I'm going to name them and export them. That's
Yeah.
It's all the busy work now.
All right. Well, in that case, I think let's call this a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching along during this whole thing. I hope that I will see you at the launch party next week. It's at the Astronaut Training Center, but it's hosted by Parnassus Books, or in conjunction with Parnassus Books. And those of you who subscribe to my newsletter will get a link on how to join. It's also on my Twitter stream right now. So thank you all so much. Take care.
Thank you.